March Madness is here, and if you think that I'm only referring to the Final Four, which is coming up this weekend, if you think that I'm only referring to Tennessee make the Final Four, Clint? Did they make the...
hold on. In the history of Tennessee, do you know how many times they made
It's probably a lot. It's probably more than Georgia.
I'm counting, and counting has taken me 0 seconds.
What if I was to tell you that we've got a bracket-style March Madness of just the damnedest of the good dogs that have ever been? Good dogs. We're gonna go through. We're gonna fill out our brackets. We'd love for you to join us. We're gonna see who the damnedest, goodest dog is of all time today on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making us your first listen of the day. And we are talking about them damnedest of the goodest of the bestesses of the good old boys, the dogs that we call damn good dogs. We got a bracket breaking that down. We're going to go bit by bit, stage by stage. Today, we're going to do one half, tomorrow, the next half. And I'm sure, Daniel, I can guarantee you this. If I could just look into my prognostication globe, right?
Okay. Is there a robe involved here? Are we putting on a...
Yeah. There is.
Okay,
but,
here we are.
But I'll do that off camera.
Privately.
I celebrate for those of us privately. On YouTube, thanks for doing that. If you're on the audio side, thanks as well. If you're on the YouTube side, go over to the audio side, subscribe to that so you can get us. Download. It helps your boys out a great deal. 5-star rating and review wherever you listen to Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts.
We got
I'll do that. I'll do that off video, Daniel.
Please.
But if I was to look in the prognostication globe, we're not going to upset any single person.
No, everyone will agree with us.
Everyone will agree
as they typically do, Clint. As people typically do agree with us because our takes are so thoughtful and balanced. That's the most common thing that we hear from you, the listener.
We hear abject neutrality.
That is correct. Speaking of abject neutrality... How's Alabama doing in terms of that Final Four? We covered Tennessee in the cold open. Is Alabama? They surely are in the Final Four. You saying to me that they swept a murder under the rug?
They did,
and then they still didn't make the Final Four?
Do you know who, by the way, who's the happiest about this? You all think it's Georgia fan. It's not. It's Nick Saban. Nick Saban is the most thrilled person.
Just spoiler alert, Nick Saban doesn't want Alabama to be good in anything but football. He doesn't care a thing about it.
He don't care.
No, he doesn't. Doesn't particularly quite like the cut of Nate Oates' jib, if I could borrow a phrase from Nick Saban, who's also ancient. We're going to talk Justin B. Tweeting, our good friend Justin. Listen, when you've been to the Chili's and back with a man, you really get to know them.
When you cross over that line,
when you step into that phase of a relationship with someone, you feel like there's a bond, there's a chemistry.
There is.
Emily's Clemson boyfriend gets it. He understands.
By the way, we will never call you by your name.
Because we will never know what it is, but it's not relevant. Justin, our good friend, our confidant, he's the official legal consultant of the Locked On Bulldogs podcast, and he's also provided us with this bracket. Now, I want to say something about the bracket here, because we've got it's 32 names, okay?
Ex or current players of Georgia.
It's former players, it's current players, but they are all Kirby Smart players.
Very important. It's very important.
Please do not send me messages about how we've left out so-and-so. Your favorite. First of all, we didn't do anything. This is all Justin. And second of all, these are Kirby Smart players. We're trying to find the damnedest good dog of the Kirby Smart era. And so let's just go through this bracket.
Which side are we on, the west or the east side, Daniel?
Let's go with the left side of the bracket. We'll start with the number one seed at the top of the bracket. and that's none other than our man Stetson Bennett. Listen, you got to start with the greatest college football player of all time if you're going to have a number one seed. This man came to the program.
Yep.
He left the program. He then came back to the program. He's been a walk-on. He's been a scholarship athlete. And then what he had done was he won back-to-back national championships. He was the offensive MVP in all 4 college football playoff games that he played in 2 consecutive years in a row.
Real quick, Daniel, who else has he joined in that company that's done that?
No other people.
Okay. What?
Same number of schools that have times Alabama's gone 15-0 in the college football playoff era, or in the history of the program.
That's it.
Never before been done. Stetson Bennett, number one seed. Jake Camarda, punter of to the Stars. One of my favorite punters of all time.
I was just going to say
for the University of Georgia.
If I'm picking punters, this is the dude.
He's in the 8 seed. Clint.
Yeah.
I love you, Jake. But we're not going to spend any
you.
time here. We're not going to spend any time.
Good. Stetson moves on.
Stetson's moving on. 4-5 matchup.
Yep, the 4-5 got a little bit of a good old boy at the running back position, Zamir White, often criticized by this side of the podcast.
Correct. Me. Often loved by this side of the podcast.
Correct.
That's me.
Against Big O, Darnell Washington. Now, Daniel, this is interesting.
It's interesting because Justin, explain yourself. Big O gets the 5 seed and Zamir White gets the 4 seed.
A little bit of an underdog story here, Daniel.
Little bit of a. Do we have our first upset in the making here? We're not grading the best players.
Please stop.
In this, we're not talking about the best football players.
Please stop.
We're talking about the damnedest of the good dogs, and so I think I'm going to go Zamir White on this.
I think to go Zamir.
I think the ACL stuff, I think the recovery, I think the way that he comes back. I think
the way
time
we win the Natty.
Exactly. His career has an ascension to it, and it really peaks at the ultimate moment in Georgia sports history, the 2021 National Championship game. So I'm going Zamir White. 3 versus 6. We got 2 members of the secondary here, Clint. We got the 3 seed, Richard LeCount. Richard LeCount, Tyson Campbell in the 6th spot. Now, listen, this to me could have been a number 1 versus number 8. This is Richard LeCount by 10 miles to me.
This isn't close.
No.
He was the prototypical recruit, bringing other guys with him.
He was the lead recruiter on the University of Georgia's team for 4 consecutive years.
That led to a national championship.
That's correct. So it's Richard LeCount. We're moving on. 7-2 matchup. We got another quarterback. A quarterback sneaks into the 2 seed here. Jake Fromm in the 2 hole. I feel like Justin might be trolling us.
He's trolling.
I think there's a trolling element to it. Yeah. Justin, can you confirm or deny that you put this list together on a yacht? Warren McClendon is the 7 seed. We got Jake Fromm. We got Warren McClendon. Now, this is interesting.
This is wild.
Jake
How many
Fromm,
national?
0 national championships.
0
I'm asking. Warren McClendon, on the other hand, dos national championships. Could we go Warren McClendon 7-2 over Jake Fromm, Clint? What do you say?
Look, Jake Fromm, I think only for his. I think Jake has to win this. This isn't best player. I think Jake has to win this simply because of his trolling of Tennessee after the win, singing Rocky Top as he goes past reporters. That alone, right there.
I think Jake Fromm wins this because he's friends with Richard LeCount. But let's not.
Also,
that's just it.
It's proverbial. The company you keep says a lot.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the next bracket. We'll go with the next 2-7 matchup, Clint.
You want to do that after we talk about Bill Barr?
Yeah, well, after we talk about Bill Barr, that's what I meant.
Thank you. Obviously. Daniel, why don't you tell the people about Bill Barr?
Well, Bill Barr, people, let me tell you about it. Bill Barr is this protein bar, and stop me if you've heard this before. No, in fact, don't stop me because you've probably heard it before, but you need to hear it again. It tastes like a candy bar. Now, I know you think I'm joking when I say that, but in fact, Clint and I have tasted every single Built Bar that's ever been produced since 1991, and all of them are delicious. They are chewy. There are some that are crunchy. Some of them have a marshmallow texture. They are delicious. They are a great meal replacement. They're made with 100% real chocolate. There's fruit flavors. There's caramel flavors. There's birthday cake flavors. You can get them in variety packs. You can get them in single flavor packs. They've got some amazing summertime flavors that are going to come out. The raspberry dark chocolate is an unbelievable flavor.
I'm about to steal all of these from Daniel's home here.
He's about to be in my home again, ladies and gentlemen. And listen, I'm lock and key. You understand what I'm trying to say to you? There's going to be a lock and key happening. Built Bar is the official protein bar of the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. It's the best tasting protein bar on planet Earth. They're high in fiber. They're low in sugar. They are low in calories. They're keto approved. They are great for whatever meal plan or workout plan you are on. Get them at built.com. Enter the promo code Locked On, and you get a 15% off your first order. That's built.com. You can get them at Sam's Club, Walmart, CVS, wherever you get great tasting protein bars. Built.com. Built Bar, the best tasting protein bar on planet Earth.
All right, so we're going to come back to this bracket. And again, we're down now into the lower half.
The lower half of the bracket, or the other quadrant, if you will.
So we got another 2-7. We just ended
another
the 2-7.
Another 2-7. This time it's Jamari Sawyer, the 2 seed.
Come on. This is shocking.
The savior of the San Diego Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers. What are they called now?
We told you. It's the San Diego Chargers who actually are in
of
LA
Los Angeles
because of marketing rights. I think that's TM.
The Poinsettia Bowl is what I believe they're called. The San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl Chargers.
I love that.
Jamari Sawyer, the 2 seed, and the 7 seed, Justin. Are you on drugs?
Justin,
Monty Rice.
You did Monty Rice
is the
dirty
7 seed.
by putting him at 7 seed.
I'm going to tell you this right now. This is a straight upset. Monty Rice is coming for Jamari Sawyer's head, and he's not even thinking twice about it.
If he put his hand on you, you went down.
Just as solid rock of a linebacker as they come.
He started every other linebacker UGA has had that's been exceptional. He was it. He was the mold. That since others have accentuated, but he walked so others could run. That's what I'm saying.
Incredible recruiting get, by the way, from Alabama, Monty Rice. Really kind of almost a turning point recruit in the Kirby Smart era.
Yes,
Not
sir.
talked about enough. Jack Podlesny coming in at a 6 seed.
6 versus 3.
We have Monty Rice at a 7 seed, and we've got the committee. This NCAA tournament has been proof. The committee doesn't know how to seed teams, okay? FAU, they lost 3 games all year.
The entire year.
And they were a 9 seed. People are confused why they're winning games. It's literally all they do. Now we got Jack Podlesny, a 6 seed, and he's going up against Jorge.
Oh no!
No!
Well, that's called a buzzsaw.
See, what Jorge did is he grabbed a Georgia Tech
and then what he
player by the face,
Uh-huh.
and then he slammed him into a brick wall, and then our conversation about who was the damnedest good dog ended. It's over. Jorge moving on.
Okay.
4-5 though. This one's a little bit more interesting.
This one's tough. Quay Walker 4, Lewis Scene 5. Lewis Scene, damn good dog. Richard LeCount 2.0, heat-seeking missile, national championship. Quay Walker coming on, part of that 3-headed monster attack in the middle. Both these guys very similar in shut up, get stuff done. That's how these guys
shut up, get stuff done, and by stuff you mean hitting you so hard that you forget who you are for a minute.
You want to quit playing the game.
Correct.
Okay. This one's a hard one, Daniel. Who are you going
It's
with?
a tough one, but I think I'm going to take you back to one moment.
Please do.
There's a hat,
Ooh.
and he picks it up.
And then what he do?
And he, instead of placing it on his head, he just hucks it across the room.
Yes, sir.
The Quay Walker recruiting video is all I ever needed to see from him. But then he came onto the field and he played exceptional football for the University of Georgia. Give me Quay Walker edging out Lewis Scene. It's a tough one.
I want you back. The next one. The next one, Isaiah Wilson, the 8, versus Jordan Davis, the 1. And
two big dudes.
Very big.
Two
very
large
big.
humans.
If these guys were in some sort of circle in which they had to push the other outside of it. We're going to see
one of them would win that and also would win this competition.
His name's Jordan Davis.
He'd win all the competitions.
He's the best. He conducts the band.
It's not particularly close. That's absolute domination. All right. We're back up to the top of the bracket now. All right. We've got Stetson Bennett.
Here we go.
Versus Zamir White. Now we're getting to the second round. Now the matchups are starting to get a little juicier. Okay. Now we can't just fast forward Stetson Bennett through. We actually have to have a conversation about it.
Stop and think.
But in the end, we're going to just fast forward Stetson Bennett through because it's
one more time, Daniel.
He's the best college football player of all time.
Okay.
And he won back-to-back national championships for our school. Neither of those things has ever before been done.
If you live where Stetson Bennett lives and he is buying drinks,
you're doing life wrong.
You committed a felony.
The owner of the bar is doing life wrong. I'll tell you that right now.
Felony. 100%. Yeah. Okay. So Stetson Bennett is moving on. Next, we have Richard LeCount versus Jake Fromm. Daniel, this is two in the same recruiting class, two of the same guys all the way through. Huge gets for Kirby Smart era, huge linchpins that started it.
Mm-hmm.
But Daniel, as much as it's got to be Richard LeCount again.
It's obviously Richard LeCount, the 3 seed, with a mild upset of the 2 seed, but I think these two should have been flipped.
They should have.
Jake Fromm is getting by on being friends with Richard LeCount in the first round, and
but now it's Richard LeCount.
You can't beat him on those merits. Give me Richie all day, every day. Moving on to the bottom half of this bracket, you got Monty Rice, the 7 seed, who took down Jamari Sawyer, and Monty Rice going up against Jorge Pickens. Now I feel like we have our first real contrast of styles. Can I say that?
Flamboyant, extroverted, up in your face.
Yep.
Lunch pail. I'm gonna go hit people and not talk. Very.
Sometimes in the NCAA tournament, you run into these games where like one team wants to be real up tempo, they want to be real fast paced, they want to move the ball. Yep. One team wants to be real deliberate, they want to slow it down. This is the matchup that you have here. Where are you going, and how are you going to differentiate these two guys, Clint?
It's very easy, the differentiation.
Okay.
Daniel. He not only threw a Georgia Tech player into a wall.
Okay.
Then he waved off a whole entire team after beating him. And then he came back after an ACL injury, and he set up absolute monster game in the Natty.
Let me take you back to the first half of that national championship game, if I may, Clint.
Please do.
A lot of big offensive plays for Georgia there in that first half of that national championship game in 2021. With a lot of explosive offensive plays in that game.
There was one very explosive play.
A lot of hope that we had as Georgia fans. Not a lot of it to go around.
No, not in the first half.
But George Pickens offered us that hope. Clint.
Did he ever?
That catch, that diving catch.
He made that diving catch, and there was an Alabama fan to the left of me that was chirping on me all game that I just got to turn over and just stare at for a good solid 5 seconds. He didn't make eye contact with me, by the way.
He didn't want to make any eye contact. Listen, Jorge Pickens on likability, I think, squeaks by this round. Yes, Monty Rice, though, absolute damn good dog. One more matchup in this round, then we go to break and we come back and finish it out. But we've got Quay Walker.
Come on.
The 4 seed going up against Jordan Davis, the 1 seed. Same NFL draft class, both first-round draft picks. This is not particularly close.
I'm sorry.
It's just not particularly close.
He's a 1 seed for a reason.
Jordan Davis rolling right now. Okay? You can see how this bracket's beginning to shape up and what kinds of decisions are going to be made in segment 3 for the 199 when we come back.
But first, I want to let you know about FanDuel. FanDuel is right now in the midst of a whole lot of heat, and the heat is from my thumbs rapidly typing in all them parlays that I want to get over on FanDuel.
So much madness in this month of March, Clint.
It's happening. There's no better place to bet on the action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. That's because right now FanDuel is giving new customers no sweat first bet $1,000 up if your first bet does not hit. back in bonus bets. If your first bet doesn't win, go to fanduel.com/lockedon. Sign up today to claim your no sweat first bet. You got a lot of that. Masters coming. Opening day is just around the corner. Go ahead and get on that action, please. Then you can wager on everything from money line point spreads.
Michael Harris MVP.
Go.
Little Michael Harris MVP, Clint. You know what I'm talking about.
Ronald Acuna out there, and I don't care if he's having fun. He should. Shut your hole, Atlanta fans. You can wager on everything from money line to point spreads, all in an app that is safe, secure, super easy. Don't miss. No sweat first bet, $1,000 in bonus bet. FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. Make every moment more with FanDuel.
This is only half the bracket, y'all. We got a whole nother tomorrow's episode. We're doing the other half of the bracket, and then we'll talk about it, bring it all together. Then thanks again to Justin B tweeting. Our good buddy Justin.
Good man.
Great man. Exceptional man.
Got us out of a lot of lawsuits over at that Chili's.
Round 3.
Okay, here we go.
Stetson Bennett.
Yes, sir.
Against Richard LeCount. The 1 seed versus the 3 seed. This. You trying to wave this on, Clint? Richard LeCount checks about all the boxes of a damn good dog you could check. This is not about talent. It's not even about necessarily production on the field, but it is about what they provide to you, the fan. Mm-hmm. What Stetson Bennett provides, what Richard LeCount provides, is unmatched charisma. Okay, so charisma goes to Richard LeCount.
100%. Not even close.
Personality goes to Richard LeCount, I think.
I'm not doubting anything you're saying right now.
But when you look at the story,
come on,
Clint, when you look at the legacy that's been left by Stetson Bennett, Heisman finalist Stetson Bennett, from literally get off my team, no one wants you here, Stetson Bennett, to Heisman finalist, back-to-back national champion Stetson Bennett. There's just never been a story better in college football. There's never been a person that makes other fan bases more mad.
Come on, that
and
alone
makes
right
you more happy than Stetson Bennett does. It's
the fact that we had the Bama, the gumpiest of Bama fans on this podcast with a Stetson Bennett t-shirt on.
Ooh, you love to see it.
Love to see it. It's Stetson. He's moving on. Mm-hmm. We now go down to the lower bracket. Okay.
Another 3 versus 1 matchup. This time it's Jorge Pickens and it's Jordan Davis, and I think this one's even less close than the last one.
Oh, again, George, thank you. Jorge, thank you. Nickname is fantastic. We love it. You were, I think, the most talented, not the most accomplished, the most talented wide receiver we've ever had. Is Jorge Pickens.
And I think he's proving that day in and day out in the NFL.
By the way, I said in 3 years he'll be a top 5 wide receiver. Turns out after 1, he's top 5 next year. Mark
Absolutely. Jorge Pickens has beaten everyone that he's faced so far on likability alone.
Yeah.
But when you run into Jordan Davis, no one, and I mean no one, wins at likability more than Jordan Davis does.
Correct.
He is the single most likable Georgia Bulldog, I think, of all time.
Well, we gonna get there.
This is what I'm trying to say to you, because now the number 1 seeds have advanced. Just like this NCAA tournament, when you think about it, all the number 1 seeds win all the time.
I'm real
quick. Go back and look at. Let me review some film here. Nope. What I was wrong about that completely in every respect.
Literally every regard.
Okay, great.
All right, we got Stetson Bennett and Jordan Davis, number 1 seeds coming up.
How are you going to talk this out, Clint? How are you going to do this?
Look, honestly, I'm terrified for the East side, because this West side, all of a sudden we get here with Stetson and Jordan.
Juggernauts.
And my heart is fighting itself. Okay,
fighting itself. I'll tell you what we're going to do.
What are you going to do?
We're going to pause the episode right here.
Okay. Okay.
We're going to come back tomorrow. We're going to do the west side of the bracket. Then we're going to do the final four all at once, Clint.
I'm sorry, 199. He did you dirty. He did you dirty.
Just like in the NCAA tournament. We're doing it. The 199.
I'm not mad about it, though.
We're going to do it. Listen, thanks so much for listening today. Thanks for following along with us. There's more spring practice news coming. There's more to discuss about this Georgia roster. We are excited as we approach G-Day on April 15th. Excited to talk about that game and talk about what we expect and what we hope to see. All of that is coming on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast, and we hope to see you there.
See ya.